My name is Sean Van Gordon, and it's my pleasure to be the mayor of Springfield. Thank you everybody for coming out on a little bit of a chilly Sunday for this town hall, and we're really grateful that this town hall is in Springfield and Thurston High. Will you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we get started this morning, if you are serving a local elected official, could you please stand up? I know we've got some of them along the side. Could you guys keep raising your hands for and these folks serve in a variety of local elected office. A lot of them want to spend a lot of time volunteering for the community, and I just want to thank them for their service. After we wrap the town hall this morning, I will have a couple of local Springfield announcements to share with you as the Senator and our Congresswoman are exiting. The first introduction I would like to make is Congressman Hoyle. Representative Val Hoyle was elected to Oregon House of Representatives in 2010, representing West Eugene and Junction City, and eventually serving as the majority leader. She was later elected statewide to serve as the Oregon Labor Commissioner, a nonpartisan role in the Oregon's Bureau of Labor and Industries. In 2023, Representative Hoyle was sworn in to represent Oregon's 4th Congressional District in the House of Representatives. The Congresswoman serves on the House Committee for Natural Resources, including as the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Water, Wildlife, and Fisheries, in addition to serving as the House Committee on the House Committee for the Transportation and Infrastructure. She moved to Lane County over 25 years ago with her husband Stephen to raise their 2 children. They are both very proud union members. Could we give a round of applause for Congressman?
Boo! Boo!
Now I will introduce Senator Merkley. Jeff has been the Roots and Roots Senator because, as you've been called the Roots and Roots Senator because of his deep Oregon roots and his roots on the ground, traveling to meet with Oregonians in every corner of this state. Born in Southern Oregon, timber town of Myrtle Creek, Jeff spent his early years in Douglas County where his father worked as a millwright, the mechanic who kept the mill machinery running. Jeff learned the ropes of public policy as an intern for Oregon Senator Mark Hatfield, and later worked on national security issues for the Secretary of Defense. But it was Jeff's experience leading housing nonprofits in Oregon, including a chapter of Habitat for Humanity, that kickstarted his call to serve Oregon. Jeff was elected to the Oregon House in 1998 and became House Speaker in 2007. 2 years later, he was sworn into the same U.S. Senate seat once held by Hatfield. Jeff serves as the top Democrat on the Senate Budget Committee and on the Interior Spending Committee, where he brings an Oregon perspective to important spending decisions. That includes securing funding for more than 500 projects across Oregon that the communities identified as their top priorities. Those projects include EWEB's McKenzie Valley Fuels Reduction Project and the Behavioral Health Crisis Stabilization Center in Lane County. In the Senate, Jeff is taking on the powerful to deliver for people, ringing alarm bells about threats to democracy and fighting for the 4 foundations families need to thrive: healthcare, education, affordable housing, and good-paying jobs. Jeff holds a town hall in every Oregon county every year. This is his 12th town hall this year, and his 624th town hall overall. And we are so happy that you joined us in Springfield today. Please join me in welcoming our Roots and Roots Senator of Oregon, Jeff.
Thank you so much. And I'm delighted that Val and I can share this town hall today to be with you all. These are turbulent and difficult times. We wanted to start out this town hall, though, with putting a spotlight on an organization that's doing something cool in the county. This is the 18th year I've done this, and there's always new organizations or old organizations that are doing tremendous work. And today, that organization is the Burrito Brigade. Come on up. Welcome. Come on down. We're over a decade into this operation, and we're going to tell you about some things like waste to taste and the little free pantries. Please tell us what you're up to.
Well, thank you, Senator Merkley and Representative Hoyle for spotlighting us today. We're appreciative of it, and I am very good children of my own. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Kathy Fleet. I am the board president. Our executive director is Jennifer Denson. She was unable to be here today because she's on a much-needed 3-day vacation this weekend. So I also have Chris, who's going to tell you a little bit about the beginnings of Burrito Brigade really quick. And then I have 3 members of the Burrito Brigade board with me today. So Chris.
So, Burrito Brigade started in 2014. Some folks in the Whitaker realized that there was no food on the weekends for the unhoused. So they started making vegan burritos, which is great portable food. That expanded and expanded, and today we're still making 500 to 700 burritos every weekend that gets distributed out to all the areas where the unhoused congregate. We started the little free pantries. So there's 55 of them all over Lane County, mostly Springfield and Eugene though. So there's basically neighbors are hosting those pantries. Neighbors put food in, and the needy neighbors put food out. So our motto is, leave what you can, take what you need. When COVID hit in 2000, a lot of restaurants started shutting down and they knew us. So they started saying, hey, you want our food? Well, a lot of it can't go into the burritos. But our executive director, Jen, said, oh, let's start a free grocery store. We now are serving 1,200 families a month in our free grocery store, all rescue food. Memorial Day, we rescued 3,900 pounds of food in one day. So this is a long ride. Now the supermarkets and everybody are starting to be on the program.
Thank you. So in 2025 was an amazing year for Burrito Brigade. We, as Krista said, we actually rescued 418,000 pounds of food from the waste stream, which we turned around and gave out to 10,000 families in our little free grocery store. We also made 25,000 burritos. So, but the biggest adventure that we had in 2025 was that we bought a building. So we are currently located at 1775 West 6th Street. Starting probably in the summer of 2027, we will be at 455 West 1st. We have some critical updates that need to be made to the building, and we need to build out a commercial kitchen. So we're very excited to be able to go into a bigger building where we can serve more people and we can rescue more food. So anyway, the other one other thing, we're going to sign off. We just had a couple of minutes here. I just want to encourage all of you to go into your local neighborhood and to look for the little wooden decorated boxes, and please put shelf-stable food in those boxes. We know that there are a lot of people in our neighborhood that are hurting right now. We also know that there are people in our neighborhood that are afraid to go out and go to the grocery store, and we believe that they are coming to our little free pantries to get food at night. So please look for those little free pantries. You can also go to burritobrigade.org, and you can see where the little free pantry boxes are located. You can find out how to volunteer for us, and you can find out how to make an appointment for our Waste and Taste program if you need to have food. So thanks again to Senator.
So just as a way of saying thank you for this great work, this is a flag I'm passing on to you that's been flown over the Capitol in its appropriate fashion. But everything you're describing is about doing everything we can to make the community and families thrive in some very difficult times. Super well done. Thank you all. Okay, we're going into your comments and questions. In the Senate side, Senator White and I are really the only senators who do town halls like this because America's become very divided and people elected office find that very stressful. But what's made it work in Oregon is we've cultivated the Oregon way. And what that means in practice is if somebody's making a point and you really disagree with them, in fact, maybe they infuriate you, you still have the responsibility to be respectful, quiet, let them make their point, and then when it's your turn, we'll ask everyone to do the same, and that way we can do something that's so rare in America where anyone from any point of view can express their feelings and members who are elected can hear from them. So that's the Oregon way. Does that sound like a good deal? All right. So the mayor has agreed to mix these up really well so that everybody gets a fair chance and just wait. I'll leave 3 numbers at a time and we'll get microphones in your hand and we'll just get going on it. So I'm only reading the last 3 numbers on the right of the tickets and so the first 3 numbers are all the same so that won't help. But 818, 118, and 821. Get us started. Wave hands if you got them. And I see a woman right in the middle of the top of the stairs. Lower balcony. Right. I'm trying to point my head. Anybody else? And then right up, right over here as well. Okay, great. And my team member will tell us the number that you have right before you speak. Maybe start with your name. Is the microphone not working? Let's get another microphone down. Gavin's coming to the rescue.
Senator.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ray Linneman. I live in Springfield. And I appreciate all the work you have done standing up for things in the past year. I'm very happy that I feel represented by my representatives. My question is, though, it seems like, and I look around at the crowd here, it's all old people. And what I'm not finding the Democrats telling me what they're going to do or like trying to bring young people in. I just keep getting emails wanting money, but it doesn't say what we're going to do other than campaign for people. And I just wonder if you have a plan to address that. It's kind of off-putting just to keep getting requests for money.
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to try to address things not in the context of Democrats and Republicans because I'm not here as a Democrat. I'm here representing all the people or whatever party you belong to. So I'll tell you more of my framework for action, and that is that we have a massive challenge to our nation that we never thought we'd see in terms of authoritarian takeover. And the primary mission I'm on is to ring the alarm bells and say we have to stop this strongman state effort by President Trump. And in that regard, I hope most of you got this on the way in. There's so many people. I hope we didn't run out. It's also my website. Ring the alarm bells. If you go to the very first page, you will see 10 things that have been the strategies in which our democratic republics have been destroyed around the world from within by the authoritarian president, a rubber-stamped Congress, and a deferential court. And then I put in one page on each of these how Trump is actually systematically implementing this effort. To me, the other part of the agenda is the fact that people are being pressed to the wall by the rising healthcare, housing, education costs, transportation, everything the tariffs are doing. And so we need not well, that bill that was passed last year by the Trump administration, he called it his one big beautiful bill. I call it one big ugly betrayal. Cut nutrition, cut health care massively, and more to come, bad news on that, and that bill will be implemented in 2027 in order to fund massive tax breaks for the richest Americans to the tune of some $30 trillion additional debt over the next 30 years. It was families lose, billionaires win. Something's wrong in a republic when you have families lose, billionaires win. We need families thrive and the rich pay their fair share.
An excellent question, but I will tell you one of the things that gives me the most hope is young people, because they know that they don't have the same opportunities that their families had, that their parents had, that their grandparents had, right? What we are leaving them, whether it's with the environment, the fact that they're graduating with mountains of debt and can't afford to buy a home, right? The current international situation, the fact that they don't seem to have a voice. The problem is we've set up a political system where the highest bidder gets to set the table, and we're framing things still as if it's a left-right issue, and it is not. It is a top-bottom issue. We have larger income inequality than any time in the history of the United States. The last time it was even close was in the 1920s, right before the Depression. So fundamentally, what we need to do is work to ensure that we're fighting for working people. Now, most people get their news and connections through social media on algorithms that want to keep us separated. We have people, I live in a rural conservative community, my neighbors get different facts than I get. It's not just different information or different opinions, different facts. So there are people that want to keep us apart, and we have to figure that out, because it is in everyone's interest to make sure that the richest among us, the Elon Musk, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Donald Trumps, aren't padding their pockets at our expense. And the first thing that needs to happen is we need to overturn Citizens United. We need to get money out of politics. We need to have redistricting reform so that there are more districts like mine where you don't get elected with just one party and you actually have to talk to other people. And when we can do that, and I personally think we need to break out of the two-party system, then, and only then can we have government that is represented by the people. And now I personally hope that Democrats get control of the House, maybe even the Senate next year. But if that happens, we cannot allow Democrats to move forward and lead saying, well, let me figure out how not to hurt anybody's feelings. We have to use our power to stand up for working people, because we have to earn back that support, and earning it is what I intend to do.
We have 11821 right up here.
Hello, my name is Kim Thomas, and my number is 821. I'm from Eugene, and I just want to say thank you very much for having our back on all this stuff. My question is two-part, and it's a really strange question, but are you aware of Sasha Riley's tapes, and also what's going on with the Epstein files? Because I think that is a big deal with all of this.
We are hearing about a whole lot of things, but you know what we're not hearing about? The Epstein files, right? I was there on the day that we passed through the House in a bipartisan way with one no vote. You don't get a lot of those kind of votes in Congress on controversial issues to release the Epstein files, and we were with the victims. women who have been raped. As children, we're standing there and we're so grateful. We're so grateful that we were there to say, yes, we want you to have justice. And I don't care who's in them, Democrat, Republican, don't care. If you rape children, you should be punished. Period. And story. That should be something we should have in our bipartisan day. Right? So fundamentally, that is number one. And then while we were there with those victims, we were able to hear that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get to answer this question. We're answering this question. We are answering this woman's question. That's this town hall. That's what we do. That's how we support minorities. So, while we were with these women, they immediately passed the bill through the Senate. And Donald Trump and Mike Johnson thought that the Senate would bury it, and they didn't. Donald Trump signed it. Well, then what happened? They've obfuscated, and this last week, Ro Khanna, Democrat, Thomas Massie, Republican in the House, went to the courts to say that there should be someone neutral overseeing this process. Friday night late, when they thought no one was watching, the administration came in to challenge that and say that Ro Khanna, a congressman, and Thomas Massie, a congressman, don't have standing. Well, we're fighting that. We're hoping the courts are with us. And the bottom line is everything else that's happening is meant to hide the fact that the Epstein files need to be shown to the American people, and those women, those children, those men who were boys when they were raped deserve to have justice.
I want to remind my viewers that Val Hoyle voted against the Trump impeachment.
I put it up as an amendment on the Defense Authorization Act, and the Republicans tabled it, so they killed it, and then we asked for unanimous consent, killed it again, but because of the discharge petition in the House, they weren't able to actually vote. When they had to vote, all but one said, absolutely, those powerful, rich men who groomed young girls, abused them, and raped them must be held accountable. December 19th was the deadline. They have produced only 1% of the files. 1%. 99% have not been produced. So that's why we're continuing to push. And there's a second set of files. The second set of files is at the Treasury Department. And Senator Wyden, our Oregon champion, is leading after the second set of files. There is in the Treasury $1.5 billion of suspicious activity reports connected to Epstein's operation. That includes dates, times, and amounts of money. That is a treasure trove. And if anyone was serious about investigating, there would be massive exploration of those files. So we need to pass, one, we need to get the courts to enforce Epstein 1.0. Second of all, we need to pass Senator Wyden's Epstein 2.0 bill and continue to pursue it. American people are unanimous across this country. Powerful men should not be able to get away with horrific crimes, including certainly horrific crimes against young women. It's essential for justice, essential for accountability, and we're going to keep pressing. Third one, we have that one.
Do they let private people do this, or are you with the campaign?
476,
No, I'm independent media.
330, and 327.
But you have to get okay before
Just wave your hand. If you don't see
Just
hand
exercising
waving,
my First
we'll
Amendment
get
right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But
Okay, I don't see any hands, so we'll go. The next three are 463, 839, and 345. No hands? Yes, right here.
My name is Jerry Samaniego. My number is 839. And my question is specifically for you, Senator Merkley, only because I think I already know your answer, Representative Hoyle, but I'm happy to hear from you both. ICE and DHS are absolutely out of control. And we have a pinch point coming up where you guys have some leverage and you can put some checks on them. So my ask from both of you today is, will you commit to voting against any spending bill that does not contain significant, meaningful checks on ICE, CBP, and DHS?
So this coming week, the House is in, the Senate is out, and the House is going to be considering the bills. They did separate Homeland Security from the other funding bills, which is a great start. And then the House will act, the Senate's in the following week. It's not just funding for ICE, because realize they got $75 billion in ICE from the ugly betrayal of America bill. And that's why they're able to offer these massive bonuses, hiring people, deploying them. Understand this. They are so abusing the law and the Constitution. Let's start with the law. I mean, they are doing all sorts of detentions of American citizens, of veterans, they are making everything scary for everyone, everywhere, and then they're violating due process. Due process, for example, not allowing people to contact an attorney, contact their family, moving them rapidly around the country, shipping them out. How many people saw the Renee Good video? Didn't you just go, oh my God, when you saw it? I mean, an execution basically happening straightforward. And the following day, 2 people were shot just blocks from my house by agents in Portland, in the very east end of Portland, in a blue-collar community at the Seventh-day Adventist. They are out of control, and people have asked, well, are we going to be able to reform them? I think we have to dismantle them and start from scratch.
The answer to your question is yes, hell yes. And in H.R. 1, the Republican budget bill, which ballooned our deficit almost $4 trillion, and not one of my Republican colleagues who voted for that can honestly tell me that they care about the deficit and, being fiscally responsible. But in that bill, it expanded funding for ICE and Homeland Security so that Kristi Noem has more funding for ICE than every other law enforcement agency and corrections at the federal government combined. Now, I just came back from Minneapolis. We had a hearing there with 28 members of Congress. It was just Democrats because this issue of oversight, which is the job of Congress, is not something that my Republican colleagues are interested in. And I have talked to a lot of local law enforcement. I talked to the police chief in St. Paul, where Renee Good was killed. And the fact of the matter is, what's happening is unconstitutional. There are 600 police officers in Minneapolis. 600 police officers who have degrees, who have years of training, who have a process that when there's an officer involved shooting, there is an investigation that starts out at neutral, not with the police chief saying what she thinks the outcome is. Kristi Noem, before even the facts were in, said that Renee Good was guilty, that her wife was guilty. Their son, 6 years old, goes to a school that has been closed down because online right-wing trolls are attacking that school. This kid who lost his mother is now having to deal with the fact that he been doxxed. That is horrific. And this isn't about the Constitution. These 3,000 officers have between 4 weeks of online training to 8 weeks of in-person training, and they are thrown into a situation where the administration wants to foment dissent. They go to cars, they give conflicting orders. They're kidnapping American citizens, immigrants who are here legally, Native Americans that they are holding hostage until the Oglala Sioux sign something saying that the United States of America doesn't have to recognize their treaty rights and can go to their land. Our 9 federally recognized tribes are very, very concerned that they are next and they are right. So what they said in Minneapolis was, what is happening is horrific. For 10 months they've been training constitutional observers, and they said we better get on that. So as a community, we need to get on that. But it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican. I talked to a lawyer who represents police officers, right, in incidents and officer-involved shooting. He said, if that was my client, I would be working on a plea deal. This is very clearly not standard practice. So, fundamentally, ICE needs to be dismantled. What is happening is illegal. It is unconstitutional. I voted against the last DHS budget bill, and we just, I signed on to the bill to impeach Kristi Noem because she is not doing the job she's supposed to do, and she's trying to give Donald Trump what he needs to be able to use and invoke the Insurrection Act. They've already called up the military and put them in notice in Alaska. Jeff Merkley just told us this. So they want to invoke the Insurrection Act. We need to protect our Constitution. We need to protect free and fair elections in 2026. And so, yes, I'm hoping that my Republican colleagues will stand up for the Constitution that we swore an oath to uphold.
You lied to us! You lied to us, Val!
25 years of 5 civil wars now. 1,500 folks in Alaska, regular military, they're being prepared for possible deployment in Minnesota. So we next have, please everyone, let's enable everyone to participate. 463 and 345, if we have either of those.
Senator, up here in the balcony.
Okay, I'm looking way up there.
Hello. We have 345.
Thank you.
My name is Cass Dowling. I'm 11th generation proud American, and I wonder if American households should start preparing for war.
So the question was, should American households prepare for war? I think we have to be prepared for what is ongoing right now, which is a massive attack on the separation of powers in our Constitution. And there are two things. So when I put, last year at the town halls, folks said, keep thinking about what more you can do. What more can you do? And I thought, I'm going to go and read the literature on how democracies have been destroyed. And there's things like, basically, there's a book called How Democracies Die. And there's another one on tyranny. And I read through those and I looked at how the tactics were used in every other country. And then that's what led to this pamphlet on what's happened here. But in that literature, there are two things that are highlighted that are essential if you're going to prevent that attack on a representative democracy, democratic republic. You're going to stop an entrenchment of authoritarian power. There's two things. One, citizen protest is essential. And you all out here, King's March was so important, the largest in our history, but we need more like that this coming year. And we need folks, you all should second, push us as your electeds, and you are, push us to do everything we can write, call, protest, and say it's just unacceptable. And then the second factor that is how you stop the entrenchment is the next election. Because it's going to be, elections get rigged if the authoritarian powers have too much time. If you look at the 10th item in that handout, it's rigging the next election. So what is Trump doing? I'll give you the very short version. He's attacking vote by mail because it's easy to manipulate election day. It's hard to manipulate vote by mail. What we really need is vote by mail available to every single citizen. The second thing he's doing is gerrymandering as many congressional districts as possible to try to preserve a majority in the House of Representatives. And that's just wrong. We need to pass the bill that would create independent commissions all across the country so gerrymandering would end. And we have fair representation. And the third item is compiling a national voter registration database. And big thanks to our Secretary of State who refused to provide it. Big thanks to our Attorney General who filed a lawsuit. And then on. That in a lot of other states, that names are going to be purged and people are going to go to the polls and try to vote and not be able to vote. We've got to protect our job, protect it in Oregon, but we're worried about it across the country. And so that's the risk. So it's less than 10 months till November, but if you add 24 months and a chance to rig the elections, then we're in real trouble. And you all might be thinking, yeah, but are elections even going to be held? Isn't there a chance they're going to be postponed with emergency power? That we have to be absolutely worried about as well. Let me answer.
So the question was, do we have to be prepared for war? We have a president that just invaded Venezuela, and now I will not defend Maduro. He was a murderous dictator. There's lots of murderous dictators. But the president hasn't said anything about Bukele. He's also a murderous dictator, right? Like it's selective. And fundamentally, if we are going to send troops into a foreign country, that should come to Congress because that is our constitutional responsibility. So before the break, we brought forward a vote. It's a privilege resolution, so it has to come to the House on a war powers resolution. It was bipartisan, not enough Republicans, but some, saying that the president should have to come to us before invading Venezuela. We just had another vote last week, and then Representative Jimmy McGovern is bringing another war powers resolution. What I heard this morning was that the FAA has told people, warned, that the airspace around Cuba, around, let's see, it's Cuba, Colombia, in and around and Venezuela, that they put a warning for people.
The art is. My son is a paramedic in Portland and has to wear a bulletproof vest. Fundamentally, because things are ratcheting on flies. It's our children that are going to be sent to war. It is not their children, and it is the power of Congress. Luckily, we do have bipartisan support in the Senate. They almost were able to pass a war powers resolution, but for one vote, and James Vance came in and wrote that tie. But we have to speak up, which is why your voice matters. These are our tax dollars. They should be spent here, investing in infrastructure, lowering our health care costs, protecting American citizens and the people who came here as immigrants to build this country. And the fact of the matter is, there is a constitution. We need the administration to follow it. They want us to back down. But we cannot back down, and that's what the people in Minneapolis said, is it's really hard, and you being here gives us hope knowing that we're not alone. I have a pair of socks that I got from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and it says, turn fear into fuel. I'm wearing them right now. And we have to turn our fear into fuel and also be strategic, but fundamentally don't believe that your voice Doesn't matter. Your voice matters, and we need to continue hearing you, and we will continue to keep speaking up. And I will say, things are starting to break on the Republican side. We're starting to see them stand up as they realize just how much things are. There needs to be more, but again, this is not a partisan issue. We should not be sending our tax dollars for our children into war.
You betrayed us, Val.
We do have 1, 2. The next three on deck are 326, 032, and 329. Just wave your hand if you have any of those.
Over here, Senator. 326.
I'm Doug Myers. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you being here and for what you've said so far. Thank you. So much to say in so little time, but I'll focus on just one thing. I've been to Greenland. I know where it's at. And as much as I like those people, and they probably would like me, I hope, they don't need to be Americans, and we do not need to spend $700 million to buy their island when we have no right to do what we need to do to defend them and us. We need to be clear about what is first. And Donald Trump ran on Make America First, and he's not doing that. He's making Donald first. Thank you for your work to keep that true.
Thank you.
The size of the ego. So, just a little confession. I really want to be the person to press the plunger when we blow up his Louis XIV ballroom. You summed it up on Greenland. And so, I mean, Greenland is so cooperative with all of us on fence installations. If there are companies that want to explore for critical minerals, Greenland's all of that. This is just, he wants to put his name and not have it called Greenland, just like Gulf of America, instead of Gulf of Mexico, he wants it to be called Trump land. Another thing I'm looking forward to is voting to the bill and strips his name off of everything else. 43032 and 329.
Senator, we've got 329 right here.
Thank you. My name is Twyla Jacobson, and thank you for being here today. I met with some folks yesterday, and thinking about preparedness, we realized being strike ready is being emergency prepared. And the people of Minnesota are calling for a walkout strike on Friday. And we may not be ready yet, but Piccoon is calling for one for May 1 because they're lawless. We have no laws right now. We have no boundaries set on them. So you keep working on what you're working on, but I'm afraid it's not stopping it. It hasn't yet. And now they're declaring the courts have no right. So will you somehow support us in developing the general strike, call it what you will, the workout? We stop the economic system to stop this.
Yes!
Well, let's talk about the fact that citizen protests are so important. We normally don't think of general strikes because we don't really do them with the stations do. I think you mentioned Piccoon. Yes, did you say Piccoon? The farm worker club is here in Oregon, and I think you mentioned May 1st. I haven't heard about that, so we're going to check on that. But I want to tell you that it is so important right now to essentially find an affinity group and get organized, because It's so tempting to want to be on the couch with a pillow over your head and hope you wake up and things better. Well, all of us now have the responsibility to do everything we can within our power. And if we are angry and frustrated alone, we're depressed and in effect. But if we are organized, if we're frustrated, angry, and organized with others, it's energizing and it's effective. And we again will need to be energized and effective. And I think we need to look at every opportunity, including what we suggested in terms of economic actions.
Paula, thank you. I mean, you are a longtime organizer. You have been on the ground. You've been doing the work for a very, very long time. So, A, thank you, and I appreciate you. And B, in Minneapolis, people there have said they are afraid, they are standing up. One of the people that were there were like, we're literally descended from Vikings. We're not backing down. Thurston all the neighbors went through hell to get here. They're legally here. The vast majority of them, they're not backing down, but that's what was expected. So talking to some people in Minneapolis, they're looking at a general strike. I think right now what we need to do is work with the courts, right? The courts are coming back, and the administration could say, we're defenseless, as they did with Zamora Abrego Garcia, right? It took them, how long did it take them to? 2 months after a 9-0 decision by the Supreme Court. So we have to work through our processes, and I believe we need to use every single tool at our disposal because our republic and our constitution are worth fighting for. And as I said before, I do not believe this is a partisan issue, right? This is not a partisan issue. This is about keeping our country from an overreaching executive branch, from a man who wants to put his name on everything, who, again, gets hyper-focused on things that are not good for our people, is not putting America first. And again, general strike, is that an extreme action? Yes. Are we getting to the point where we need extreme actions? Yeah. So I say use every tool at our disposal. And again, as I've said, we'll be working, I personally will be working with community groups that are training constitutional observers, because that is the one thing that the people in Minneapolis said is be prepared to know your rights so that we're not breaking the law, but we are there to observe and we're standing up and using our voice. So again, Twyla, thank you so much for the work you do.
You lied to us.
We have 463 or 032. Either one. No, 462, excuse me, 463 and 032. Okay, then we're going to keep going. We have 357, 353. Okay, you're on.
I'm Sally Snyder from Eugene, and I also want to thank both of you for the work that you do. I have so many concerns, but the one that I wanted to address has been talked about to a certain extent. I am really concerned about election interference next November, and I think I'm worried about things that are already underway, kind of under the radar, and wondering if either of you have a sense of how that's being tracked or found out about, so that that comes to light before the election and it's not just a huge disaster at the time of the election in terms of people being able to vote. Thank you.
So, thanks, Leah. That is the most important question of the day, I think. I mean, everything's important. Things like where you focus. That is critical. The bottom line is, if the administration felt like their agenda was popular, they wouldn't need to undermine our elections. They would just win. But we have seen in all the off-year elections that, like looking at Jersey, looking at New York, looking at Virginia, looking at Georgia, right, where we're seeing between a 12 and 14 point to almost 60% swing towards Democrats and progressive candidates, right? And that's a big deal. So people see that. But I think one of the greatest crimes that has happened is the undermining of our faith in our elections. Understand, vote by mail was pushed by a Republican Secretary of State, right? Vote by mail means that we have a paper copy of every ballot. Vote by mail, when we get, I tell my colleagues, like, yeah, when you get a voting pamphlet where you get to see 325 words from every single candidate, right? Whether they're running on ending chemtrails or they're running as the incumbent congressperson. We do that because we believe in the transparency of free and fair elections, and we need to make sure only eligible voters vote, right? That's good. And that is being undermined, and the people who are put in charge, whether it's at the DOJ or election security, by this administration are election deniers. And we should be fighting back against that. It will be harder to vote, right? And I've talked to some of my colleagues, you know, in Black and brown communities in the South, and they're like, we fought this battle, we've seen what this looks like, and now it's time. We have to fight. Under the Constitution, what it says is time, place, and manner is up to the states. And we have this amazing Attorney General who's working with Democratic Attorney Generals across the country to fight this battle. Mark Elias, who is a voting rights lawyer. If you're not following him, you certainly will. And fundamentally, they can't tell Oregonians that we can't vote the way that we want, taking the time to make sure that we have a ballot, a paper ballot, and a choice. We make that decision, and they don't get to tell us that we can't. But we're going to have to fight, and we need to make sure that we fight to ensure that every single vote, whether people vote for me or they don't, I want those votes counted. So, Val and Mark Elias, we're certainly tracking that because in the House and Senate, and Senator Merkley's doing a great one.
You lied to us.
Let me go back two legislative sessions. I have Senate Bill number 1 for the People Act, and it would create a national right to early voting. You had a certain number of days, a national holiday to vote. It would create a national protection of the database, the voting registration database. It created vote by mail as an opportunity for everyone in the country. And we came within 2 votes of going to a talking filibuster that would allow a huge debate for the American people, and unfortunately, we were 2 votes short. But that's the type of bill that creates the natural framework under the Constitution, because you read the clause of the Constitution, it has states, time, place, and manner, but then also says the federal government can adjust those factors. We don't want them adjusted in a totalitarian fashion. We need to anchor the protection of this beating heart of our republic, the ballot box, because we're already in deep trouble, even with a legitimate ballot box. The separation of wealth of the amount of top means we have the ballot box, yes, but the richest, the oligarchs, the billionaires, they also have the lobbyists, they have the media campaigns, they have the lawyers, they have the dark money. There's 2 systems for campaign donations in our country. One for ordinary people like us, and that means that it's publicly disclosed and it's capped, the amount you can give. And then there's the system under Citizens United for the rich and powerful. It can be done secretly, and there's no limit. So you have 4 very powerful executives put $40 million into the Senate race in Ohio because they didn't like the fact that Sherrod Brown was sure banking that wouldn't pass their crypto bill. That is a powerful corruption. So we've got to take on this role of money Otherwise, what we have done, and I'm sorry to say, we really are a long ways there, even before Trump is government by and for the powerful instead of the people. So election reform, and particularly, let's add money reform, and let's end So then, our last hour, and Val and I are really honored to represent you all. We never, I'm speaking for both of us, but I think neither of us, when I was a little kid in Roseburg and growing up in a blue-collar family, I never imagined in my wildest dream that I would be fighting for the people of Oregon in this role. And I think Val and I feel the same way about that. And so we're going to keep carrying this fight. Please stay in close touch, continue the advocacy, continue supporting the local officials who are dealing with so much crap from the federal government right now, including cancelled, programs being canceled, funds being canceled, money being clawed back, and they're struggling with all of that chaos. We're trying to do the best partners we can in the federal level. I'm going to pivot and close here and say we need to have everyone be energized, and in this kind of oppressive black cloud hanging over us, it's just like sometimes you feel the weight of the world. And so, encourage you to take a break. I'm going to wave this around. Oregon Refrigerators class, maybe you got a copy on the way in. You did this also on my website. And it's the coolest places to go in all 36 of our counties. And the whole idea.
She betrayed me. I was on the diversity committee for the city of Springfield, and she was in cahoots with the mayor. Me and the diversity committee tried to create change in the city of Springfield, and she ignored my and several police officers that blew the whistle for discrimination. She betrayed us. She voted against Trump impeachment. She was part of Elon Musk's Doge caucus. She has betrayed us for money multiple times.
Something's off with her.
She's a liar.
Something I can tell with what she talks about. She talks too long, and it's all about her. So I wanted to find out from you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking. A lot of people just assume that I'm against Democrats because.
No, I don't get that.
But I love Merkley and Wyden. I'm progressive. I love Bernie Sanders, AOC. But she personally betrayed me and several whistleblowers in the Springfield Police Department.
So who would we vote for then? Who?
Well, we have a few candidates coming up. Dr. Melissa Bird is a Democrat, and she's very educated. Justin Phillip is here tonight. He's Green Party, and he's running as an independent. Boris Weidenfeld Needlehelm, I think is his name. He's out of Eugene, and he's progressive. He's been backed by the people that were doing the anti-Trump demonstrations.
Okay.
So we got more options, but corporate media isn't reporting.
So I wanted to come up.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking me.
Sure.
I've been escorted out a couple of times, and I'm really involved with the progressive movement here.
You were forceful, but you weren't obnoxious. But,
okay, well, thank you.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt sorry for that guy over there that got escorted.
Yeah, he's frustrated. We're all frustrated. Times are intense right now.
Yeah. I felt sorry for him. You know, a Marine and
he feels betrayed too.
Well, he is betrayed.
And I can understand completely.
He is betrayed, so yeah. Anyway,
thank you for not making assumptions.
To make sure that's correct.
Yeah, that's me.
I did.
Oh, thank you.
Sure that I checked in with you to ask.
Oh, thank you.
But I think probably I can get the answers there. I don't want to hold you up.
Okay.
But I was just curious, like the pushback, because I really didn't. I'm not.
Yes, Val Hoyle betrayed me and many other community members, but corporate media in her district is not covering it. She's been covered by OPB, Willamette Week, the Oregonian up in Portland, and they have covered multiple scandals that she's been caught in.
I was just reading them.
Yes.
Because of what you were saying.
Yeah, but corporate media isn't covering that here. They're not. Registered Guard, Sinclair-owned K-Val hasn't covered it. And so I'm just trying to get some coverage on there. I don't know, like I said, she was on Elon Musk's Doge caucus. You know, she voted against the Trump impeachment. It was the...
who is this?
This is Val Hoyle. Al Green is the Democratic House of Rep from Texas, and he started that movement, and he's been standing up to Trump.
All that's happening in Palestine.
No, No, I was no.
I've written her
Yeah.
several times and always gotten back.
She's taken over $60,000 from
APAC.
yeah the other one. Yeah, similar to JPAC, J Street,
She
pro-Israel.
said some things that I like hearing today, but I've got
She's
all
good at that.
in the back.
Yeah, she knows how to work the crowd.
So you're
Yeah, glad to. Relay. James Anderson, good to meet you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Oh,
It's hard, but it's great.
it is hard. Yeah,
So much.
thank you. Hi there.
And you're with community?
Yes, yes.
SN or PNW?
PNW, Pacific Northwest.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
That we can find using.
Yes, yeah, that's my YouTube channel. I'm active in mostly Eugene, Springfield area,
So
but
you are active in this now. Do you have?
I do activism. I mostly volunteer.
All right. Are you organized in any way? Do you have?
I support other like progressive groups just through volunteering, but I don't speak on their behalf because I've got. Oh, there's Justin right here. He's one of the candidates I was talking about.
I'm running for Congress against Val Hoyle. Yeah, check out my website, justinforcongress.com.
Are you party affiliated?
I am. I'm with the Green Party.
You're Green Party.
Yep.
Okay, so you're not duopoly.
No, we're trying to build
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, at least she said, you know, get rid of the two-party system.
She did say that. She said
She also says she wants to end Citizens United while she accepts corporate PAC money.
Yes.
It's like, as James Baldwin said, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do.
We need to write down his name.
You might see my little, I don't know, I tried to hit as many windshields as I could out there with my little flyer, but it's...
Community Matters, PN.